MLB opening weekend, the joy of baseball being back, only for it to come crashing down because of the Miami Marlins. E-Dubs here with another video. Been a while since I've done a video, a few weeks. Kind of talk about what went on with the Miami Marlins. Well, as we know right now, there have been 18 total positive tests of the Yuck on the Miami Marlins. We're looking at 16 players and 2 coaches, if I remember right here. Initially, just their home opener against Baltimore was canceled after their series in Philly. Well, now they're not playing at least until Monday, August 3rd. Now, 4 players tested positive or were known to test positive before Sunday's game. The Marlins still decided to go through with the game via a group text. Now, should that have been up to them? Should that decision have been in their hands? I don't think so. MLB released a statement. The health and safety protocols were designed with a challenging circumstance like the one facing the Marlins in mind. The response outlined in the joint MLB-PA operations manual was triggered immediately upon learning of the cluster of positive cases, including contact tracing and the quarantining and testing of all the identified close contacts. The Marlins personnel who tested positive remain in isolation and are receiving care. So the Marlins have been in Philly since the end of their series. They took 2 of 3 from the Phillies. And there were probably players that tested positive after the game that actually played in the game. On Monday, Marlins CEO Derek Jeter issued a statement. We continue to take this entire situation very seriously. All of our players, coaches, and staff are understandably having a difficult time during this experience. After receiving additional test results on our major league team this morning, we reached out to the commissioner's office with concern for the health and safety of our team as well as our opponents. We have moved to a daily testing schedule while we isolate and quarantine appropriately, along with enacting additional preventative procedures with our traveling party. We look forward to safely returning to Miami, where we conducted a successful and healthy Spring 2.0 before departing on the road and experiencing challenges. For the time being, we will remain in Philadelphia and gather information in order to make informed decisions and prepare for our return to action next week. I know in the past, whether it be on video or on my E-Dubs podcast, I've mentioned what would happen if a bunch of players, especially I'm more for high-profile players, would test positive for the Yuck. And how would the competition hold up? More than half your team is testing positive, and you're using most of your players from your 60-person pool that's outside of the team. How competitive is that going to be? Most of those are probably either washed-up veterans or minor leaguers with very little to none in MLB experience. How competitive is that going to be? And even before MLB canceled their games through, Sunday, August 2nd, with the intent of returning on the 3rd on Monday, the Washington Nationals, who were supposed to play in Miami this weekend, voted not to go there. Considering their manager, Davey Martinez, has a heart condition. He had a heart procedure last year. And Miami is a hotspot for the Yuck outbreak down in Florida there. Is their season in jeopardy in Miami after going 2-1 in Philadelphia? Our team's going to want to travel to Miami to play them. Are they going to want Miami to come to their stadium to play them? Now, MLB is launching an investigation into how the team got the Yuck in the first place. And I'll have more of that on my podcast, which I'll probably do tomorrow. Kind of a timeline, again, reviewing what happened with the Marlins. So on Friday, July 24th, that was their opening day in Philly. Now remember, they were in Atlanta for some exhibition games or scrimmages just beforehand. So Jorge Alfaro tested positive and he misses the opener. No other players had tested positive. Now we jump to Sunday the 26th and more than likely Saturday night the 25th. 3 other players, including Sunday's scheduled starter, Jose Urena, reportedly test positive. Urena was scratched from his start. Team learns about the positive test, but still decides to play. And after the game, Marlins don't travel home. They stay in Philly and await another round of test results. Now, on Monday, the 27th, another round of testing shows a full-blown outbreak. 11 players test positive for the Yuck. And that's reportedly at least 14 players total are positive. Home opener, obviously postponed. Team remains in Philly. Sorry, I got my notes here. So now we got Tuesday, the 28th of July. 4 more players test positive. They're still in Philly. 1 player who previously tested positive now tested negative, and that's per Ken Rosenthal. And MLB issues a press release on Tuesday announcing the Marlins aren't going to play until Monday, August 3rd. Now, yesterday, July 29th, we had another player test positive per Ken Rosenthal. Brings the team total to 18. That's 16 players and 2 coaches, like I mentioned earlier. Opening day starter, Sandy Alcantara, among the positive tests, according to John Heyman. So what's going to happen? Like I said, MLB is investigating to whether there was possibly violations, protocol violations. So they're going to be a required protocol officer, not just for the Marlins, but for all these teams to make sure that players follow protocol, stay in their hotels. Now, after all this started, David Price tweeted out, now we really get to see if MLB is going to put players' health first. Remember when Manfred said players' health was paramount? Part of the reason I'm at home right now is because players' health wasn't being put first. I can see that hasn't changed. Well, one problem I have with that comment is part of MLB's original plan, like on the owner side, was to play in either just like Arizona or Florida, just those 2 sites, kind of like a bubble how the NBA is doing. Well, the players, which is what you are, David Price, voted that down. You wanted to play in your home markets. So don't just put that on Manfred. That's your guys' fault too. And Manfred still sees this as manageable, but it's kind of a worst case scenario for MLB. I've said this quite a few times on my podcast. My opinions on Manfred. I think he needs to go. And I've said the same thing about the Players Association leader, Tony Clark. They both need to go. This thing has been messed up from the start. And pretty much a lot of it was about money. That's one thing David Price was right about, is that the health did not come first. It was all about money. But I think he's wrong in just putting it on MLB and nothing on the Players Association because they wanted their money. And I was all excited, too. I'm still excited to see baseball games being played. I watched a few games Thursday and Friday and Sunday. But it's sad to see all these players test positive for the Yuck. And I wonder how long this can be sustainable before it happens to other teams. As of right now, the Marlins are the only team with an outbreak. Phillies players have tested negative. But one thing that needs to happen during these games, they're still celebrating, they're still high-fiving, they're still getting close to each other. They're not wearing their masks all the time or properly. Things they were told not to do when the games went back on. They were told not to, do the handshakes with the teammates afterwards, be 6 feet apart. You had in Oakland the other day when they had the walk-off hit, them celebrating like they normally do after a walk-off hit. They're not supposed to be doing that. And I know it's kind of tough getting in the heat of the moment, but these players agreed to that and they're not following suit. So one of the things that could happen, especially with the Marlins, like their season could get canceled and other schedules be rotated. Like they have the power to cancel just their rest of their season and keep going on with the other teams, since no other teams are reporting outbreaks yet, and hopefully they won't. It's like being stuck in between a rock and a hard place. What's going to happen? With the other sports starting this week in their bubbles. MLS. I kind of watched a little bit of that the other day. Watched Columbus and Minnesota play their game down in Orlando there. How's it going to work for these teams that are in bubbles, these leagues that are playing in bubbles, and what is the NFL going to do? Because they're planning on traveling like MLB and not playing in a bubble. I'll have more of that when I do my podcast. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Should MLB cancel the rest of the season? Should they just cancel the Marlins season? I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comments down below. Like this video, share this video. Help a guy grow his channel here. And of course, subscribe to this video. Hope you enjoy the content, and if you have any ideas on what else I can make content on, also leave in the comments down below there. And hopefully, things turn out better here than they are going right now. And I hope you listen to my podcast. It's called the eDubs Podcast. I make it with Anchor, but it's available on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. Hope to gain new viewers on here. Hope to gain some new listeners to the podcast. Again, if you like the video, hit a like, subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to help the channel grow. Share the video. Give someone else access to this content. And like I said, I hope everything goes better for MLB here. Hope everything goes well for the NBA, NHL, and MLS as they're trying to continue or restart their seasons. And I just hope everyone stays healthy, happy, be safe, but still live your life. Hope you have a good day. eDubs out.